What's up, guys? Craig James here from masculinebydesign.com. Give me a follow on Twitter. The handle is Masculine Design. You can also find me by searching for Craig James. So yesterday, I found out that a prominent personality on Twitter, on YouTube, Stefan had his MailChimp account terminated because some woman, likely feminist, definitely liberal, on Twitter decided to report him as being a white nationalist, a racist, and I think she had a couple of other choice defamatory words that she threw in there as well. So for those who don't know, MailChimp is a service that allows its customers to more seamlessly collect email addresses from those who visit their websites, purchase their products, etc., and then also send mass emails to their email lists that they collect, and do so with a rather high deliverability rate. So if you go and send a bunch of emails from Gmail, if you have a list of whatever, hundreds of people, and you send mass emails through Gmail, quite a few of those emails will end up in the junk folders of those recipients. It'll be shown as spam. Whereas emails that come from a service like MailChimp have a much higher deliverability rate. They typically end up in the inbox. They have different ways that they accomplish that. Needless to say, this is a very important service for people who have an online platform. Stefan fits this bill. Now, I don't know all of the details surrounding how this termination of his account took place, whether he was allowed to export all of his email addresses so he could take his business elsewhere. My guess is that likely wasn't the case. I don't know if they reached out and gave him an opportunity to defend himself. I would bet just about any amount of money that was not the case. They took the claims of one person on Twitter who used words that defame a man's character. She did not provide evidence of this. She did not defend her claims. She simply made accusations calling him a racist, a white nationalist, and on down the line, a bigot. And MailChimp quickly responded by terminating this guy's account, damaging his livelihood, taking away his ability to support himself and his family. And this is the culture we live in today, guys. The left-wing mob can stir up dissent. The left-wing mob can use one voice to get somebody shut down, to take a man's ability to provide for himself, take his livelihood away, without backing up their claims, using words that have absolutely zero damn meaning anymore. Calling someone a racist has zero meaning. That term is thrown around ad hoc in every single context imaginable anytime some liberal wants to drag somebody's name through the mud. Same with the term homophobe. Same with so many other terms. Toxic masculinity. Pick anyone out of this soup of words that liberals have decided to redefine to suit their narrative. This is unacceptable. And the way that we can fight back, besides drawing attention to it through social media, through videos, by making sure that those who we interact with every day know what's going on. I'm sure this is not an isolated incident. This is somebody who I have followed for a time. And I'm not defending Stefan. I'm not saying everything the guy says I agree with. I'm not saying everything the guy says is right. But that's beside the point. what we have are companies who are saying that anybody who uses their platforms have to espouse the viewpoints of that company. And they're free to do this. They are. As long as they disclose this information, which they don't do. They give false pretenses when people sign up for their services, and then they do a bait and switch. So we have to start voting with our wallets. I am taking my business elsewhere. You know, my partner Hunter Drew told me about this and said he was moving to a different platform, different email aggregator. And my first reaction was, well, you know, I'm going to stew on this for a little bit, because who's to say that these other email service providers won't do the same thing? I mean, yeah, I can move from MailChimp, but if I'm just going to a company who runs business the same way, what am I really accomplishing? And so I'm going to do a little research. I'm going to find a company that doesn't have a reputation for deplatforming people, for removing them from the ability to use the services that they've been providing them simply on the basis that they don't agree with their opinions or their ideas. And that's the only recourse we currently have, guys. That's all we can do is vote with our wallets. And so we need to do that. When we see companies mistreating the values and the ideals that we hold dear, we should hold dear as Americans, the ability to share ideas freely. Stefan was not calling for violence against anybody. He's not doing anything that was deserving of being removed from the ability to use the services that he had been using for, I'm sure, months, if not years. Companies who refuse to stand for the ability to speak freely, to think freely, to have opinions that don't necessarily comply with the politically correct culture that we live in today, they are undeserving of our business. And we ought to take our business elsewhere. And that's what I'll be doing. So that's all I have today. A little bit worked up about this. So it pisses me off to see companies behaving this way, to see our culture behaving this way. And I know right now the liberals, they sit and they bask in what they see as victories when they get somebody like Stefan taken off of some service that he had access to prior to them tattletaling. But that pendulum swings both ways. And they are not going to feel so hunky-dory about the tactics that they are using when the other side of the political spectrum is the one who is able to rule simply by whining, complaining, screeching, and drumming up enough attention to whatever their opinions of their cause might be. They're not going to feel so happy about it when the shoe is on the other foot. And it will land on the other foot. If you guys have any comments, leave them below this video. If you have any suggestions on how we can fight back against this culture of censorship, this cancel culture, leave them. I'm all ears. I'm willing to fight back. Right now, the only recourse I really see is voting with our wallets. So we need to be doing that. But if there are other options, I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, share it, spread it, help me get the message out. Help more people understand the threat that we are faced with today. The power that these miscreants and malcontents have over the livelihoods of men, of women, of complete strangers whom they just happen to disagree with online. Other than that, give me a follow on Twitter at Masculine Design. That'll do it. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you sharing this message. And if there's anything I can be doing to help you level up your life, level up your the things you're working to achieve as a man, let me know. I will be happy to address it in a future video. Till next time, this is Craig James from masculinebydesign.com. I'm out.